So, I just watched the first presidential debate, and I don't quite know what to say. Actually, I have quite a lot to say, but I'm just really not sure where to begin. The biggest, and I guess the most pertinent question on everyone's mind is, who won? Who won the debate? That's what everyone wants to know. And I find that to be kind of a complicated question to answer. I mean, if the contest is who was the most poised, calm, cool, collected, then Hillary won, hands down. Trump looked nervous. If the contest is who had the better ideas, then your answer is going to be wholly contingent upon who you already agree with, what ideas you already embraced going in. I can tell you that as a liberal, I did not see a liberal candidate on the stage tonight. The most liberalism I saw was not from Clinton, but from Trump, taking a stand against NAFTA and TPP, rightly pointing out that Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, rightly pointing out that Hillary Clinton called the TPP the gold standard. Yeah, it is the gold standard. Much like the gold standard, it's a stupid fucking idea. I loved that part of the debate. Trump nailed her there. The rest of the debate, I honestly struggled to find much I could agree with either of them on. So for me, I give the win to the more liberal candidate on the stage, and that's Donald J. Trump. And I'm not saying Trump is a liberal. I'm just saying that once again, he looked a lot more liberal than Hillary Clinton. But honestly, this debate is not about policy. It's not about who's the most poised. This debate, I knew, was going to be a battle about not who can make themselves look best, but who can make their opponent look worse. Because the polls have painted a pretty clear picture about how the electorate sees this particular election as a farce, as a joke, as a fucking shit show. These candidates are historically significant in their level of unpopularity. Neither of them is looked at favorably, and there's nothing that either of them could really do to change that in one night. So the mission tonight was smear, smear, smear. So you can't sell yourself, so sell the idea that whatever flaws you have, your opponent is way worse. And I have to say that by this metric, the metric that I think matters the most, Donald Trump lost the debate. But he didn't really lose it to Hillary Clinton. He lost it to Donald Trump. And remember, everybody, I have a $1,000 bet riding on Trump winning this election, so don't say I'm biased in Hillary's corner or some stupid nonsense like that. Trump just made so many bad mistakes tonight that I honestly felt a bit embarrassed for him. For one thing, his constant interjections, they just came across, to me at least, as very childish, like a man who can't contain himself and just has to blurt things out over his opponent, as if we're too stupid to judge for ourselves what he's saying. I mean, I don't need Trump to say wrong when he hears something he doesn't agree with. I mean, who the fuck is convinced by such antics? I mean, Hillary says Donald Trump raped 50 puppies, and he says wrong. Am I supposed to be convinced that he didn't rape 50 puppies just because he says wrong? It'd be crazy if the fucking world worked like that. I mean, imagine like a trial. Mr. Brandenson, you've been accused of murdering your wife in cold blood. Wrong. Oh, well, shit, sorry, our bad. You can go now. We were wrong. We're convinced by your fucking polysyllabic fucking response. Sorry, it just doesn't work that way. Or maybe it does, I don't know. Maybe to the dumbass electorate of America, that is how it works. But to me, I need a little bit more than that. So here's something that really puzzled me. Hillary did not bring up the issue of Trump's temperament at all. She didn't bring it up. Maybe she was going to, but she didn't get to it because Trump raised it himself. Just out of fucking goddamn nowhere, he goes into this apropos of nothing ramble about how he's got the best temperament. His temperament is his strongest quality, which quite appropriately drew laughs from the crowd. So then Hillary lays into him about his temperament. And she fucking nailed it. And none of that had to happen. None of that fucking had to happen, Trump. If you had just kept your fucking mouth shut and talked about something else, like maybe bring up the corruption of the Clinton Foundation, put her stupid ass on the defensive. I can't believe I have to say this to Trump. I mean, if anyone understood, or if I thought that anyone understood putting your fucking opponent on the defensive rather than being on the defensive yourself. If I thought that anyone understood that, it was fucking Trump. But apparently I was fucking wrong because he raised the issue and she got the fucking last word on the issue because he said, I got a great temperament. And then she can go on and rebut that and say, actually, your temperament's dog shit. If he'd have waited for her to bring it up, he could have had the last word. So that's just a dipshit, amateur-ass mistake. from Donald Trump. On the issue of taxes, Trump looked real fucking bad, everybody. I know a lot of people out there have tried to make it seem like Trump's refusal to release his taxes is somehow understandable or not a big deal, but it is. And Hillary Clinton, honestly, perfectly laid out why. What is he hiding? There's a reason that every presidential candidate for the last 40 fucking something years has released their tax returns. And there's a reason why Trump's refusal to do so should be met with suspicion. And his bragging about how smart he is for not paying his taxes, I mean, it was a funny, cute moment. It was definitely an entertaining moment from a consummate entertainer. But Hillary made him pay for it by laying out all of the things our taxes pay for that Trump, with all his wealth, has not contributed to and is proud of not contributing to. I have to pay my fucking taxes. You have to pay your fucking taxes. But here's Donald Trump on the stage, a fucking billionaire, bragging, yeah, I didn't pay my taxes because I'm too smart for that. No, you're not too smart for that. You're too rich for that. And unfortunately, we live in a fucking country where rich people are given 1,000,001 ways to avoid paying their fucking fair share of taxes. And Hillary Clinton claims to want to fix that, but of course she doesn't, because the very same rich assholes, the rich asshole class that Trump comes from, they have given her a shit ton of money. They love Hillary Clinton. Don't kid yourself. Now, Trump was terrible also on the birther issue. He really needed to hammer home the idea that, yeah, I ran with the birther thing, but Hillary's really the one who started it, which is essentially true. And he kind of tried to get that narrative across, but he just did a piss-poor fucking job. It wasn't pithy, it wasn't clever, it wasn't eruditely explained. It was just, well, lots of people know and agree, and he just didn't get to the fucking point. And, but I mean, Trump would have lost on the birther thing even if no one was there to oppose him, because it's just too stupid not to hurt him. I mean, you have a guy running for president who literally spent the last 8 years wasting his time on a conspiracy theory that never had any evidence behind it. So that's never not going to be an embarrassment. There was no way for him to win the birther exchange, but he could have minimized the damage, and he really failed to do so. But was Trump destroyed? No. I think he actually had some really great moments, too. I think he did a good job, once again, on pinning NAFTA and TPP on the Clintons, because NAFTA was the big globalist dick used to fuck American workers in the ass, and he did a good job coming across like he stands for those workers. Probably bullshit, but well-sold bullshit. Got to congratulate Trump's salesmanship there. I loved him nailing Clinton when he said to her, essentially, and I'm paraphrasing here, how can you say you're going to stop ISIS? ISIS happened on your fucking watch. When you were Secretary of State, ISIS was in its infancy. Why didn't you stop them then? Now they've spread like a fucking cancer. Now, both candidates were total dog shit on two issues raised. At one point, Hillary said we should use the no-fly list as a no-gun list. In other words, anyone on the no-fly list shouldn't be able to get a gun. No. Fuck you, bitch. There shouldn't even be a no-fly list. If we have credible evidence that someone is an imminent threat, then they should be in jail or on trial. If we don't have any such evidence, then no restrictions should be placed on them whatsoever. This is Patriot Act horse shit that any true liberal would reject all day long. And Donald Trump didn't disagree with her a bit. He also thought that idea was great, so fuck them both on that issue. Then they were also both wretchedly and unbelievably awful on the subject of crime, on the subject of racial tensions, law and order, that kind of stuff. Clinton's answer is a police state where people's Second Amendment rights should be curtailed. And the only problem with law and order is there's just too much racism in the police force. Black on black crime, not an issue, apparently. Why? Well, it's not because it's actually not an issue. It's just because black voters want to hear that their shit doesn't stink, and Hillary Clinton is happy to fucking oblige them. Trump, on the other hand, also wants a police state, but his police state wants to focus more on just making the cops super powerful and rescind more of our civil liberties. So no matter who you're voting for this November, both candidates view fascism as the solution to civil unrest, racial strife, and law and order. Different flavors of fascism, sure, but that's the difference between being forced to eat bat shit or rat shit. In other words, there is no fucking difference. Now, I've seen people talk about Donald Trump sniffling too much. Whatever. He did a line of coke or two to keep his energy up. Who gives a shit? I don't. I've also seen people on both sides criticize Lester Holt's moderating job. You see, the Clinton camp people are like, oh, he let Trump get away with too much. He let him interrupt her too much. Wah, wah, boo-hoo. And people in the Trump camp were similarly whining because, oh, he asked Trump harder questions than Hillary. Wah, 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 boo-hoo. Oh, woe is me. So I want to say I think Lester Holt did a fine job. He asked questions that would give these two idiots a fucking chance to bicker back and forth. And that's exactly what he let them do. He just let them sit there and bicker with each other. That's exactly how this debate should have been run. I mean, personally, I'd have run it a little differently. I'd have asked them more policy questions and watched the stupid fuckers sweat. But that's just me. I know, though, that Lester Holt's job is not to make the debate informative or give us a sense of where the candidates stand on policy, because anyone who cares about that can just go read about it for them fucking selves. His job is to get them to, going at each other in an entertaining way. And did he accomplish that? Absolutely, he did. He accomplished that 100%. I got to say, I was actually shocked by the almost complete lack of zingers in this debate. Trump had one good zinger that I already mentioned about Hillary's failure to kill ISIS in its infancy, and Hillary had one good zinger about Trump's plan to defeat ISIS. She said he says he has a secret plan, but the secret is he has no plan. That was a good one. But that was it. I mean, Trump is usually a zing machine, but you didn't really see a lot of zingers from him, and Clinton, I'm sure, has a whole team of fucking writers to craft zingers for her. So the fact that only 2 zingers landed all night, just one from Clinton, one from Trump, that's kind of bizarre. Hillary tried, I think, to get a zinger going with calling Trump's economic plan trumped up, trickle down. Trumped up, trickle down, which sounds clever and probably would have worked in the hands of a better orator. But with her, it just fell flat. Her delivery was all wrong, not at all where it needed to be. Overall, in terms of just sheer style, taking policy out of it, I'd give Trump's performance a C+ and Hillary's a B-. I really went into this debate thinking Trump was going to be the one to win. I thought he was going to obliterate Hillary Clinton, but that didn't really happen. Instead, he just kind of self-sabotaged a few times and seemed overall to struggle with tone. Sometimes he seemed overly aggressive and amped up on bravado, and other times he seemed too meek and timid and very un-Trump-like. Hillary didn't really impress, but I guess she at least managed to keep her foot out of her mouth for the most part, and she was passably decent in terms of her delivery. But never did she feel very impressive, and never did she strike you as a commanding presence. I think Trump actually, even with him seeming nervous, came across as the more commanding presence of the two. I seriously doubt that this debate is going to do much to move the polls in either direction, maybe 2 or 3 points, one way or the other. I don't see anyone other than a hardcore Clinton or Trump supporter claiming that this was a knockout for either side. I think it was a fairly close debate, and I honestly had to think for a while before I decided who had won. But I think ultimately my answer has to be Hillary Clinton. I would like to end this video by pointing out that both of these candidates, though, are absolutely awful. And the Democratic Party, and I know this is just going to sound like bitter, resentful shit, and it is. The Democratic Party should have nominated Bernie fucking Sanders. He clobbered Hillary in the debates that they had, and he would have had no trouble, and I mean no fucking trouble, tonight with Donald Trump. I think that if this had been a Bernie Sanders-Trump debate, and, this is just speculation on my part. Of course, I can't look into an alternate universe and see if this is true, but I think that if Bernie Sanders had been the nominee, and he was the one going up against Trump tonight, he would have clobbered him. I think that every opinion poll across the internet would show Bernie Sanders way ahead. I think the national polling, I think Sanders would be way ahead of Trump. I am looking forward to the next 2 debates because now I think these two, maybe they know each other a little better, and hopefully next time we'll see them both better prepared. I'm giving this first round to Hillary, but honestly very, very narrowly. And I'm pretty sure that some of you out there will disagree with me. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. If you think that Trump narrowly won, I would say that I can respect that. If you think Trump dominantly won, then I think you're a fucking delusional idiot. If you think that Hillary dominantly won, then I think you're a delusional idiot. This was close. I don't know how. I mean, I think that if you deny this is close, then you're just denying the simple truth that lie before your eyes. But maybe I'm the idiot. If I am, explain to me down below. Don't just be like, you're wrong, amazing atheist. Don't pull a Trump and just be like, wrong. Explain your fucking self. Explain to me why I'm fucking wrong if you think I'm fucking wrong. You can't, because I'm not fucking wrong. Anyway, I love you guys, and I want to let you know that regular Amazing Atheist videos will commence again soon. I'm just working on building my studio area back up. I need to get some new lights and some other new equipment. It's going to be great. In fact, it's going to be huge. You'll love it. Subscribe to my channel. I'm the best. I have the best YouTube channel. It's unbelievable how good it is. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's amazing. What a shit show, everybody. What a fucking goddamn shit show.